This is the Give Me a Full podcast. I'm your host, Coach Hemi. I am welcomed by a good friend of mine, good guest, Coach Ashton Ward of Villa Angela St. Joseph High School boys basketball team. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Hey, appreciate it, Gabe. Really appreciate you having me on, man. I'm looking forward to wrapping it up with you a little bit.
Oh yeah. Today I got a full list of questions, man. Like I followed your career. I remember seeing you my freshman year in high school when you came to open gym, man. Like I remember seeing you back then, bro. You was about 6'4", because I was pretty big back then. You was bigger than me. I was like, who is this 8th grade kid, man, coming in here, man? Like, and then freshman year you was out there, y'all was giving 30 balls. Freshman year you came up on JV, and I never forget. It was a scrimmage in the summer, open gym. You was playing. I was getting ready to leave the school. You was playing on the JV team against the other varsity prospects. You went base. You drove middle, and you gave Ben Show. I don't even remember this, bro. You like Hezzy going right. You went middle, and you came across your body with the right hand stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this dude for real.
You know what's funny about that? He had dunked on me either that same open gym.
No, he dunked on you the play prior.
Right.
Because he kind of caught you like you ain't know he was gonna do that.
Yeah, he took off. Yeah, I remember that.
Bro, that lives in my head because a few things back from that day, man. But that's when I was like, oh, this dude legit. Okay, well, I left after that. I was like, I gotta get out of here, man. I gotta give me some varsity minutes somewhere else, man, because I wasn't getting them over there, man. But we'll start there, man. Tell us a little bit about your high school career. I know you coach at your alma mater.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about that and just kind of, your journey from there to college.
Well, I mean, honestly, I didn't even know I was going to VASJ until a few weeks before school started. And then once I got in there, I knew basketball was something I wanted to pursue because I had heard of the legacy and all the great players that came before me. So with me being passionate about basketball and that being like the premier school in my area, I had a coach in 8th grade who said, hey, you might really want to look into going there. So my parents, got me together, hooked me in there, and I loved it from day one. I had a few friends, and that few friends became family. So that's really why I love my school as much as I do, and really honored to be back coaching here. But my playing days were something I'll never forget. I mean, being able to play with like Dave Lighty and Nate Barnes, Mo Haynes, like all these great, not only great basketball players, but great character guys who I was able to learn from. It can't put a price on it, man. Like I truly value my high school days, and I really think I started from the bottom. Like I came in where not many people knew me. As a freshman, starting on the freshman team, and then working my way up to the JV team to be able to play with you a little bit, and then eventually being a varsity player as a sophomore, and going to the state championship or being in Columbus 3 out of 4 years. I mean, not many people get to accomplish that. You know what I mean? Granted, we fell short a few times, but to be there and to be in those battles, I mean, I enjoyed every minute of it, and it prepared me for the college game.
Yeah, so because in Cleveland, they're growing up, you saw a few guys go from the high school level to college, and I was fortunate enough to not even play with Dave like you, but I played against him sometimes in practice in the summer. Dave was that dude.
Oh yeah.
At what point did you realize for yourself, hey, I can play, high level college basketball?
Wow. I think it would be after Dave Lighty graduated, actually, because now people were looking like, well, who's going to do it now? Who's going to help lead this program? And I took that on as a challenge, and not necessarily saying I was the best player, but I saw how hard those guys before me worked to get us to the stage that we got to be able to play in the state championship. And I wanted to keep that going. I didn't want to let my school down, let my family down, let my team down. So that really just propelled me to want to be the best basketball player I could be.
Yeah.
And I think once we were having success after some of those guys left, I mean, it showed me like, I'm a pretty good player. Like if coach puts me in the right positions and my teammates are encouraging me to, be aggressive, I must be doing something right.
Oh, yeah.
So I think for me, that's when I realized my junior year was a a really big moment for me, a really big eye-opening moment that I don't have to stop here at high school. Like, I remember getting my first college letter, opening it up and thinking, well, this Division I school is interested in me. Like,
Be a great feeling.
yeah, that was an eye opener for me. And I think that really fueled me, like I said, to keep going and seeing what the possibilities could be for me in the game of basketball.
That's super dope. Like that's super dope, man. Like, so we'll move on because that's really dope though. Cause I remember getting my first something. And it wasn't no D1, but it was something. I was like, yo, this is dope, you know.
Yeah,
So what we all here to talk to you about is the coaching, right? At what point, because you played all 4 years at Youngstown State,
correct.
right? And
Yep.
you did pretty well over there. Like
Yeah, I
you
had a
did pretty
pretty good
well.
career. Yeah.
At what point, because did you have the option to go play overseas? Did you have the option to play like what got you into coaching? Like, did you want to stop hooping, or was something you just kind of felt like,
Yeah. You know, man, it's a funny story because things kind of fell into place for me where decisions were kind of placed in front of me that were no brainers.
Mhm.
And I really think God has a way of working your life out where he presents you with certain opportunities and you just feel it in your heart what to do. So for me, after my fourth year of playing basketball, I had an option to either finish 1 year of student teaching
Mhm.
because my major was in education and I wasn't able to do student teaching and play ball. We were always on the road. I
Gotcha.
couldn't do it. So I had the decision, do I look at possible overseas options or do I finish school and get this degree? And that's what I decided to do. I thought that, me getting this degree was going to be beneficial for my long term.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, I'm still planning on training and working out
Yeah.
and pursuing basketball at the same time.
Mhm.
Um, and then honestly, it was that summer when I wasn't playing anymore, I got into the training. And I had about 4 or 5 kids that I would train over the summer down in Youngstown. And I loved being able to teach them certain things
Yeah.
that I was able to learn
Yeah. Yeah.
and giving them a leg up because I don't think many coaches or many trainers can play and also teach the game. So I'm fresh off the court, I'm seeing things from a different perspective. And it really made me more intrigued into the coaching aspect. Like,
Mhm.
how can I teach other players, the things that I know in a way that they'll understand and can apply?
100%. I get that.
So that was really the start for me. I volunteer coach at a school called Girard in Youngstown. I was the freshman assistant, loved it there. And it was at that point, I'm like, yeah, this is something I want to get into. Now, I did have a few offers overseas.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, everything kind of falls into place. I moved home and I was offered an opportunity to volunteer coach at my alma mater.
Mhm.
I'm like, wow, I can coach at my old school.
Yeah.
At that time, I also accepted a really good teaching job in Orange High School, which is where I'm still at now.
Mhm.
And then my son was born. So I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I'm being blessed all over. God's telling me what to do.
Don't
Just
run
do
from
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, don't run from it. And honestly, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Oh man, see, I knew I didn't. You only see certain things on Instagram, and I know when when you had your son, it was on Instagram. Now, hey man, happy for you, man. You got a beautiful family,
Yeah,
but that's
thank you.
stuff we don't know. I saw you. You was a great basketball player in college. I followed you, man. Like you was dope, dog. I was like, hey, I tell people, I know that guy. That dude is already killing it. And it's like, you've heard the story. Guy graduates, you don't go overseas. You kind of go, why not? But you don't hear, hey, good things were happening to me in a different route. All people think about is, oh, he must not have been good enough, or he didn't have an opportunity. Because I follow Nate Barnes too. He out here killing it. He's doing this.
Killing me, killing
So
me.
that's just, appreciate you telling us that story, man. That's super dope, man.
Yeah, no doubt. I think people should know. I definitely had opportunities, but my heart told me what to do, man. I
Yeah,
followed it, and I don't regret it. I mean, are there moments I'm like, man, I wonder if I had gone overseas, would things be different? But honestly, I wouldn't want it to be different. I mean, I've been blessed in a multitude of ways, and I think things are working out the way they were supposed to.
so let's go to your first coaching gig at Orange when you became well, I kind of want to stay in that lane. The process to becoming a head coach there, because that was a big deal. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like in the city, you were, because you were the hometown kid. You grew up in
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland. You went to Cleveland school. You come back. You're coaching in the city. What was the process like for you coming from that freshman assistant to being the head coach at a major division. Like Orange is a pretty big school.
Yeah.
You know, what was that process like for you?
You know, it was again, I think I treated it kind of like I did as a player. Like I started from the bottom. Like I said, I volunteer coach for 2 years and then got an opportunity to be a freshman head coach. And then the next year had an opportunity to be a JV head coach. And I did that for 2 years. And again, things just kind of fall into place. The school that I teach at, the job becomes available.
Oh,
I've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years now. Maybe it's time for me to, you know, give it a try. And boom, I become the head coach of my own program. And there was a lot of people along the way, a lot of coaches who had, you know, shown me the way of how to run a program. And I've been able to kind of tweak things and make it my own. You know what I mean? And Orange was an opportunity for me to do that, like to put my imprint on my values and my standards as a coach and as a program.
What's one thing you would tell a first year varsity head coach that you wish you would have known when you went into it your first year? I know I kind of caught you off guard with that.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one. To do it your way.
Yeah.
To do it the way that you want to do it. Because I think sometimes we get accustomed to what we've already seen and we think that's got to be the way that it's done. But the key is to take those things that you've seen and make it yours, make it your own. And I honestly think it took me a full year as a head coach to like not be afraid to say, no, we're going to do this because that's what I want to do. I think that's what's best for the program. Where when you're an assistant, you always kind of just follow the lead. I mean, you got to make decisions and just go with it.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about now you at Joe's. So I know a few people personally who applied for that. You know, when they heard, it was like, man, Ashton Ward applied. I was like, yeah, bro, I don't know. I don't know if you're going to get it, man, because that man said he want to go back home. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a resume over there, you know?
I'm really humbled by that people even think that way, man.
Trust me, I had a few guys. I'm like, you know, we get to cleveland.com, we're looking on a little thing, because my nephew goes there. Derek Boykin goes there.
So, that's my guy. Yeah, that's right. I was talking to him the other day. Yeah.
So when he told me, yeah, man, Coach Ward, I think he gonna come. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the guy. They not finna. they wouldn't be very, in my opinion, a good staff to hire somebody. They don't hire the hometown kid who went through it. Good kid, got a good resume. Of course they gonna hire you. It was a humbling experience. Let's talk to me a little about that process and just how you felt when you got the call saying, hey, we want to bring you in, be our next head coach.
It didn't feel real. Like some great things happen and you like celebrate and you're like super happy. I had to take at least 30 minutes to just sit in it. And then I had to say, no, I'm gonna wait till I get keys to the gym. Once I get keys to the gym, then it'll be real. Yeah. And that became, once I get the kids in and we're in the weight room and in the gym, then it'll be real. Then it's like, no, my first game. After that, but I'm still at a point where it still doesn't feel real, and I'm just enjoying it. And I hope I get to a point where it just becomes what it is. But I mean, it's really a dream come true, man. It really is.
As someone who I went there 2 years, man, I tell people all the time, I didn't graduate from there, but that school helped mold me into the man I, wanted to become, because that in 8th grade, 7th grade, everybody goes there. You know, I made a lot of good friends there, and it's a really, really dope school, a lot of dope experiences, and it's got a place in my heart, man. St. Joe's does, you know.
And not a lot of people understand that, man. Like you had to be in it to know how special that place is, man.
Yeah. So that's dope, man. So we're gonna talk a little bit more into the coaching weeds here. So I want to know what Coach Ward's, like, your philosophy, man. Like, what's something you teach your guys, your players, or something you live by as a coach?
Well, for me, it's really simple, man. I want to be able to teach these young men life through the game of basketball. And I say that because I want them to be able to leave with things that I've taught them that are going to help prepare them for everyday life and to be able to achieve their goals. And if basketball and playing at a high level is one of your goals, I want to help you get there. So my philosophy is simple. I truly believe that effort and work ethic are key to success.
Mhm.
So you take your effort, and then you have to be able to make decisions and the right choices. And if you mix that up with a community of people and having unity with those around you, you will be successful. So that's kind of the message that I preach. Work as hard as you can,
Yeah.
work as smart as you can, and have unity with the people that you're working towards a common goal with, and you'll be successful. Um,
100%.
so I try to teach them that through the game of life. Like, if you come in practice today and you're not giving 100% effort, what are you doing? Like, how are you setting yourself up for success in whatever it is that you want to do?
Mhm.
Same thing for making decisions. You made the same turnover play 3 times in a row. Like, how are you getting better? How, you know what I mean? Like, so in
Yeah.
life, you can't keep making the same mistakes over and over. You got to learn, you got to grow. And then, like, just being a good teammate,
Mhm.
picking a brother up when he's down, encouraging each other, cheering each other on, even if you haven't played 1 minute, like encouraging those people that are around you,
Yeah.
and being a family. And I think if you do that both in life and in basketball, you will be successful.
I agree. Those are things I teach, and it's my last interview with Coach Dante Davis. We talked about that, and basketball is basketball.
Hmm.
Every coach is pretty much coaching the same thing. It's how they receive the message and are they understanding. Because I had a young lady the other day. She doesn't play a lot. You try and 5 minutes for her, and after each game she look at me. I'm like, hey, you know, you work hard in practice. And there are times you don't, and I gotta trust that you know what you're doing. Because I'm trying to teach you, like same with you. You come to practice, why you not? What's going on? You're not running hard. Oh, I didn't eat today. You didn't set yourself up for success.
Right.
Or hey, I got up late. You didn't set yourself up for success. So that's a lesson I fully agree with, because they don't understand at 16, 17, 15. They think
Right.
everything is easy. No.
Right.
Hey, when you get to college, it's just you. Mom and daddy ain't there to wake you up, get your
Right.
price one time.
Yeah. Yeah. Get your own food, all of that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
So when it comes to your goals and coaching, so I would assume you have other life goals, but we'll stick to the coaching. What drives you to hit those goals? And if you want to share with us what maybe a few of them are.
Wow, that's a great question. My goals in coaching, really, it starts with my kids, man. My goals is for all of them to graduate and have a plan after they graduate. Like, that's my biggest goal. Like, that would be an accomplishment for me. I want that to be my greatest accomplishment, that these young men leave high school prepared for whatever the future holds for them, and that they can share knowledge with other people to make the world a better place,
Yeah,
to not be cliche. You know what I mean? So that's my number one goal. And then after that is to make our school proud.
yeah.
I want to be able to leave an imprint 20 years down the line. They'll be able to say Coach Ward did something special for VASJ because it's done so much for me. I, of course, I would love for that to be state championships and
Yeah.
district championship, regional, all of that. But at the same time, I want us to be represented well within our community, and within the realm of basketball. I mean, we played on a national stage. Like, people know VASJ, and I always want it to be represented in a right way. So those will be my goals, man, to win and do it the right way.
Yeah. And so at the JV level I'm at, which you have been at prior to,
Mm-hmm.
I have my goals aren't as lofty because, well, in my season, because it's different from, you got coaching goals, you got in-season goals or whatever. One of
Right.
my goals to be at a head coach. That's one of my short-term goals, and eventually be at the collegiate level.
Okay.
I'm working towards that, doing my time, working, getting my craft together.
Right.
Uh, so due to COVID, are you guys having playoffs this year?
We are going to have playoffs. Yeah,
Okay.
they actually start in a couple weeks.
Okay. So you guys, like, what's kind of your goals for the season? I know, it's kind of late in you guys' season. You guys got like 2 weeks left.
Mm-hmm.
You got maybe some, like, you want districts, you looking for, what you looking for now?
Well, at the start of the season, I normally always have the same goals in terms of our year.
Yeah.
I want to protect our home court. That's always big for me. I think we should win every home game. No one should be able to come into our gym
I
and
agree.
leave happy.
Mhm.
Secondly, to win our conference, because I think if we're doing that, that means we're taking care of business at home and on the road, because we got to play those teams twice. Um, Grades, always. I would love for my team to be above a 3.0. And then after that, we start talking districts, regionals,
Okay.
state championship.
The progression. See the progression.
Correct.
The progression.
Exactly.
I got you. So about the players, I wasn't gonna ask you, but I'm like, I gotta ask this because I know my nephew gonna listen to this. How are the players today different than when you was playing varsity at Joe's? Like how like I know they different. You know, how do they respond differently to coaching than you did? And also just the talent level. Is it better? Is it worse? Like how's that?
You know what? I think kids nowadays, the ones who are really, really pursuing basketball as a future, they're putting the time in a lot more than kids back when we were in school. Like, I mean, some kids, and a lot of them are still doing it today. They're not really putting the work in, but they talk about they want to play D1.
Yeah.
I think that kids nowadays just got to learn that nothing's going to be given to you. You got to earn it. I think back in our day, it was a little bit more of that. Like, you had to earn it. I mean, that's how I've kind of gotten to where I've gotten. Like, I earned it. Nobody really gave me much of anything.
Yeah.
Where nowadays kids will make a couple shots in a game, post a video online. And it's kind of like, you've done it. Like, no, you didn't. You had one good game, or maybe we only saw the 3 or 4 good things you did in that game. Whereas social media wasn't as big back then. I really think social media is driving a lot of what happens in the culture of basketball these days.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if you would agree with that from your aspect of what you see, but I mean, just to know that you can just post something that quick and it can get to so many people. I mean, then you start getting into rankings and all. Like, none of that really mattered to me back then.
On the girls' side, it's a lot of, well, I hit a shot in practice. Why don't I play more? Listen, you hit one shot with no defense, and it was a terrible shot, but you hit it. I give you that. And I always tell my players about trust. I gotta trust you in practice to know what you're doing. That's first and foremost. I gotta trust you in practice before I even think about what you could possibly do in a game.
Right.
You know, I feel like, freshman, JV, and varsity for me, it was like, I'm gonna work my butt off so hard to make the coach look at me as when he look on the bench. If I'm not starting or when I'm in the game, I can't take Gabe out.
Man, you are preaching to the choir, man.
Take him out. Like I need him to look at me when he look on the bench and go, when I put him in, I can't. Especially when I'm starting, because I know my JV year I didn't start. He look at me like, if I put Gabe in, I ain't gonna be able to take him out, but I want to keep my starter in. So he like, I knew that was going through his head because he would tell me at the end like, hey man, I want to play, but like, I want him to play. You know, I know how that works. I'm a coach now. I know how that works. You want your starters to get, because they have the potential to do some more consistently.
Right.
Well, that's something that these young people don't know. It's not like we hating on them. It's, hey, my starter has the potential to make 7 shots. You might make 3, but they got the potential to make 7. And I hate, looking at it like that, but it's something as a coach, I know you probably have to deal with that, because at the varsity level, it's like, I want to play everybody, but you can't.
Right.
I feel like back when I was at Joe's, man, you had to kill somebody in practice just to film and look at you in a game. That's how hard practice had to be.
Exactly. And I think that's what's missing these days, man. Like, you got kids with loads of potential, you know what I mean? But maybe they don't put forth the effort it takes to be, next level. And then you get the kids who may be average or above average that work their butts off. You know what I mean? They will give you any and everything the team needs. And I think the key is to try to mesh that where you get all of them what they need. You give the skills to the guys who are working their butts off, and they get the time that they deserve on the court. At the same time, you're pushing the guys who may be a little more talented to say, no, you got to step it up. Like, if you think you're doing enough, you're not. And that's why I love Kobe Bryant so much, man. He lived that, like, to have so much talent, but to work harder than everybody. That's the key. Like, that is the key right there. And I want all of my guys to play that way. Like, we will never get outworked. We might not have a great game. We might miss some shots. We might turn the ball over. We might get blown by once or twice, but we will not get outworked.
That's one thing I've noticed more on the boys' side. If they not hitting shots, they're going to play hard regardless. Girls' side, at my level, I can't speak for everybody, but I'm noticing in our games, the physicality, it's there, but, in the boys, you get bumped, I'm bumping back. The girls, my team, I'm trying okay, I'm like, how do you instill toughness? How do you instill that aggression into your players? That's something, as a coach, I don't say I'm battling with, but it's a thin line for me, because if I'm over aggressive with the girls, they can regress.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not aggressive enough to give them that energy. I feel like they're yearning for it, because they want to do something. How do you
Right.
as a coach kind of bottle it up and give it to them?
For me, I kind of got the cheat code, man. I mean, the fact that I can still play a little bit,
Yeah,
I'll just tell them straight up, like, if you can't be me, you're not really where
yeah,
you need to be. Like,
yeah,
I'm 30, I got 2 kids, a wife, mortgage, all that. I don't have time every day to get out and work on my game.
yeah,
So if you really can't be me, you got a lot of work to do, man. Like, I was a decent player, but I ain't got it like I used to.
yeah,
So I try to teach them that way. Like, there are so many people out here working hard to be great at this game. And if you let them pass you up, that's your fault. Like
yeah,
that's on you. So I try to use that to instill that work ethic and that toughness in them. And I think they see it when I play too. I mean, I'm pretty aggressive. I talk a little bit, I talk a lot. I
yeah,
talk a little bit to, get guys motivated and maybe get into their heads a little bit. So I try to just teach them that mental toughness, that being able to fight through anything. I'm not just preaching it to you, I live it.
yeah,
Oh, sometimes leading by example is the best way to do it. Now, when I'm older as a coach and I'm not able to do it as
yeah,
much,
yeah.
I'm hoping can tap into some other ways. But for right now, I'm gonna keep using it till I can't get up and down the floor anymore.
Yeah, I can't do that, man. I was last day of practice. I was kind of playing around with some of my players, and every coach, you're too big. I'm like, listen, man. You want to play in college? There are gonna be some women my size,
Right,
6 foot, 235 pounds. You
doing
gotta
what they
be the
want.
hand. You gotta be the. Well, let's pivot real quick. So we're gonna talk about just recruiting, because as a high school varsity coach, do you got any guys on your team that have the potential to go to the next level?
My team's pretty young. Well, I'm in a unique situation where I have 6 seniors who didn't really
Oh,
have much experience before I took over. So
okay.
this is kind of their year. They're getting their shot to
Yeah,
kind of lead the team. So a few of them have some opportunities, and we're going to keep working towards that. But I really think I got some young guys, some sophomores and freshmen that have a strong chance with me being able to help them grow and develop over the next 3 or 4 years.
okay. And as a former college player, do you feel like do you have I won't say a leg up, but when it comes to recruiting, you have kind of get tapped in with the college coaches? Because I'm hearing, from other college coaches that trying to have a relationship with high school coaches is very important.
Yeah, for
Being able
sure.
to, either have a number, have an email, and have a rapport with somebody. How do you kind of navigate that with college coaches and, trying to help your guys either get exposure or just,
Right.
the landscape?
Right. Well, luckily for me, I've been playing the game, a while, and I've been able to meet a lot of people, both within the city, at the high school level, and at the college level, nationally.
Yeah.
So, and I've even got some former teammates of mine who are coaching in various schools right now. So, I've got those connections, and they are key.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm one of those coaches. I'll do just about anything to help my kids out. So, if that means me picking up the phone and calling a coach that I don't necessarily know, or sending film out to a bunch of coaches on one of my guys,
Yeah.
and that's what I'll do. As long as the kid is showing me, like, I want to
Yeah.
play at the next level. Now,
Yeah.
you're not working hard in practice, and I'm not about to be shooting you out to coaches so
No.
you can ruin, my reputation
Yeah.
with,
You don't look good.
you know. But like I said, if there's a kid who wants it, I'll do just any and everything. I'll reach out to anybody, get them a tryout or a visit at a school, do whatever I can.
Yeah. That's dope, man. It's like, I feel like a lot of coaches say that, but they don't really do that. I'm
I've done it.
trying to,
I've done, and
yeah.
sometimes you don't get responses back.
Yeah.
That's
Respect that.
okay. Mid-season, you shoot them another one. Like, hey,
Yeah.
here's your
Yeah.
stats, here's his film. Let me know.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a few more questions, man. I like how this interview's going. How do you feel about coaching, right? So do you think coaching is more natural talent, or it's just kind of the grind of figuring out the X's and O's and, the slugging, just, research and trying to, you learn it, or it's kind of like basketball. So either you got it or you don't.
Right.
Would you say coaching is the same or not?
That's a great question. I think all coaches have something naturally that aids to them being a good coach.
Yeah.
Some coaches, are able to communicate really well. Some coaches are great motivators. Some, coaches have different traits about them that might naturally make them a good coach. But I think the really good coaches are the ones who also study the game and continue to grow. They never feel like they know so much about the game that they can stop learning. My college coach, Jerry Slocum, he was a really great coach for us. And he was, a little older, but he was constantly learning. Like, he was constantly working with us to put us in the right positions. And he had great assistants along with him who did what we needed to be successful. So I think he kind of modeled that for me. Like, this man's been coaching 30 years and he's still learning as a coach. I mean, who am I? I've been coaching, 8, 9 years now. I still got a long way to go. So I think it's about using those natural gifts, but also building your catalog as a coach and what you can add.
Oh, I agree. I've been coaching 3 years now, and it's definitely been something I'm always trying to add to my bag, so to say, and just I learned something new yesterday, a new offense I like, so I'm gonna implement that into my AAU season, 'cause I'm also doing AAU as well. How is your family work balance? I know you said you teach at Orange, you coach at VASJ, and I know you have a family. How is that for you?
Over the years, we've been able to find a system that works for us. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I told you it was always
Like,
sunshine and
somebody
rainbow.
wants you to give the answer, like, what is it? What's the magic? What's the sauce?
I mean, I could give you the dry answer, but I'm gonna be real with you, man. It's hard enough being a coach, at a premier school. So being able to have a support system is key. I mean, if my wife didn't do all that she does, I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
Yeah.
And if my kids didn't, do the things that they're supposed to do and follow and listen to mommy when I'm not there, like, my whole world would fall apart. So, I mean, having a strong wife and having good kids is definitely a plus, and it allows me to be able to go and scout games, and it allows me to go in my office and watch film, and and they embrace it, and they're at every home game. I mean, and they get to see, like, this is why daddy's working all the time. And even my kids come to the gym with me every now and then so that they can see, like, all right, daddy's not just gone. Like, daddy's putting in work, daddy's yelling, daddy's playing, daddy's sweating. So I mean, the balance is, it takes communication and I think understanding each other. And I try to do the same thing for my wife and her endeavors and supporting her. So we just kind of have figured it out at this point.
That's what's up, Coach, man. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. You got anything you want to plug? School, anything you got working on, or?
Of course, got to plug VASJ. My hometown school. Love it. I really just want to give a shout out to everybody that's kind of helped me get to the point that I am. Of course, I mentioned my wife and my kids, my mother, my whole family. They've really supported me, even down to the coaches that I've had that have taught me, how I want to coach and the things that I want to instill within my players. To the guys that I coach with today, my assistants, I with this being my first year, I don't know if I could have picked a bit better staff to have my back and support me. And I mean, and that's important, man. Like I said, man, having a community and a group of people that you can trust and that you can grow with and that truly support you is key. So I just want to shout out all of them. And of course, my players wouldn't be there without them. Because I'm sure they're going to listen to this, and the guys that I've played with before. I mean, I can't list them all off, but they all helped me grow. They all helped me get to this point in basketball. So, and with God, all things are possible. And I can't thank him enough.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying, Coach. Like I said, we appreciate you coming on the show. We hope you a great postseason and wish you more success. This has been Coach Henry with Coach Ward at the VASJ boys high school basketball team in Cleveland, Ohio. Wish you guys all luck, man. Thanks for joining the show.
All right. Thanks again for having me, man. Anytime you want to talk, man, I'm here. Coaching is my passion, so I'm sure we could spend hours talking, man.
Oh, 100%. Appreciate you, Coach.